So I mentioned earlier the fire doors, we've checked they're open, and we're going to move straight on to item number 1 on the agenda. Item number 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence. As far as I'm aware, there is no one absent. Item number 2 on the agenda is declarations of interest. Has anyone got a declaration of interest? No. Item number 3 on the agenda is budget and preset request for financial year 2026-2007.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Can I ask why the public session is at the end of the meeting, where historically the public session is there to discuss items on the agenda?
That will become clear. First of all, I didn't say carry on. And second of all, that will become clear very shortly. In fact, I could even move on to that now. Due to the confusion in last week's meeting, this meeting is to clarify and be open and transparent. This is not a meeting to rediscuss the budget. Okay, so Sophie, would you like to read out the budget figure?
I mean, I can do. Basically, after the meeting has been reviewed last month, we've had advice that the actual budget was not resolved at that meeting, hence why it's back at this meeting. We're not suspending standing orders because there was no previous resolution. So that's the advice we've received from LAUC. So they were wanting some sort of figure. Now, obviously, the budget is the whole document, not just the figure at the end. But, I mean, I'm not personally going to propose anything because I didn't vote for it last time, so
Yeah, okay.
don't expect a proposal. But in terms of the expenditure, you've got a total expenditure of £469,392 and
That's expenditure.
and a total income of £62,925. That's your total figures from your budget, not your precept. And the document is as we discussed and did the last meeting.
Could I confirm where we're getting the 416,000? What figure that is?
416,000 is your precept figure.
Right, okay.
It's the amount you're requesting from South Holland, but that's not your budget, not your expenditure and your income. It's your expenditure minus your income is how much you request from South Holland.
So, can you repeat them figures? We need a proposal.
Oh, sorry,
on
did I?
them. Isabel?
I'm not proposing it because I didn't vote for it.
No, I don't want you to propose it. I'm sorry.
I propose.
Yeah, could you stipulate a proposal, please, to make it clear?
What she said.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not having what she said, Tim. The reason we're here.
The budget as agreed previously with the resolutions that were taking place in between times. So yeah, that's it.
I don't think that's the reason we're here, Tim, is because the proposal that was put forward at the last meeting didn't include any figures or reference to the budget at all. So just saying either what she said as previously agreed is not going to be sufficient.
The issue was that the percentage was wrongly quoted to the press.
No, they're happy.
They're
happy with the precept. They're not happy with the budget. So it was the proposal that was made for the budget was not clear and didn't actually state any figures or reference to the budget at all, and therefore it hasn't been agreed. Right. So we've got to come up with a clear proposal at this meeting, and unfortunately I don't agree with the budget, so I'm not going to be proposing it.
Okay, so my understanding of the figures you just read off, Sophie, was a total income of £62,925 and a total expenditure of £479,892, is that correct?
Is that the most up-to-date figures? Or?
Well, this is the figures that everyone's been sent out and working with.
Have you got the Is this the one that's on the website and the up-to-date one that calculates it? Yeah.
Yes? That's why I'm checking.
62, that says 62,925 and that says 479,892.
Yes, and that's what would be the proposal,
Yeah.
is that correct?
That's what it says there, yes.
Yes. So, to confirm, the proposal is, and this is, I'm really struggling with light here. The proposal is to accept the total income of £62,925 and the total expenditure of £479,892. And we got a seconder on that proposal.
I'm not seconding it, but I've got a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
Oh, excuse me. This includes the increase in the precept, yes? This budget, if we pass this budget, we've approved the increase in the precept, is that correct?
No, because you've approved your precept last week,
Yes.
rather.
Yes, so in effect, if you've got your expenditure minus your income, you would be committing to a precept because you can't do anything other, but yes.
This figure hasn't changed from last week, by the way. There's no changes to this.
I'm really unhappy about that. I've tried to do some more work on this since over the weekend. Looking at the number of properties there are in the district and the total amount of increase per property, they don't add up. I can't manage. I'm not an accountant. I've never been on the finance committee. I've normally dealt with other things on the council, and normally the finance committee come up, you trust the finance committee and you accept what they say. But this is so horrendous. I'm having a hard time voting for the budget because this is in it. There isn't anyone to ask. We haven't got a present RFO. We've got a remote RFO, part-time, who isn't that familiar with everything that we're doing. I can't ask the questions I want to ask. Yeah, Sophie, sorry.
So this hasn't gone through finance committee because at the time we didn't have a core finance committee.
Yeah.
This was done all through full council meetings to get to this budget. What queries have you got in terms of the properties figures? Because I think part of the issue in terms of saying about an increase from last year is not all of the property maintenance and expenditure was budgeted in full last year, so there's not a direct comparison, which I think that might be contributing partly to the
possibly so.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Possibly so, but nevertheless, when we spoke last time, we were talking about an increase, so I was told, of around £100 a year per property. And if you multiply about the number of properties we've got, that's a lot more than it's far more than would cover the increases that we have. I can see the increases that we've got in staffing costs and the replacement of buildings that are gone because previous councils haven't done what they should have done with it. I'm just not happy with it, and I can't ask the question. I appreciate you trying to help here, Sophie.
Well, I'm not happy with it either, Paul, so I think we agree on that.
I don't quite know what the repercussions are if I vote against it, because the Hutchinsons here, a pair of them don't agree with it. I'm not sure I do. And then we're going to be back to 3-3, and it's going to be on Adrian again, which is a bit rough on Adrian, really.
What I'm not understanding, what I know the figure's high, clearly the figure's high, but how do we get it down? What are you proposing to get it down with?
I don't know. I have no idea. I want to know, if you take that sum, you multiply one by the other, it's a lot of money. I want to know exactly where that money's going, and I don't see it in the budget.
Tim?
Mr. Chair, we've already thrashed this out last week. We did all this last week.
Yeah, but we didn't approve the budget. And I can't.
Well, we did vote the budget through as it was, so that's the situation. We agreed on what we've got there. Therefore, there's nothing here that's new. We are simply voting through correctly what wasn't done correctly last week. Therefore, nothing's changed. It certainly wouldn't change my vote. I know we don't see what change your vote because you voted for it already.
Well, apparently I didn't. Otherwise I wouldn't be here again. All right, let me ask a subsidiary question here. If we go through these figures subsequently and find that there's an error or there's something wrong, where does that leave us? Can we change that precept figure?
I think I'll have to ask the RFO that question.
I haven't got an RFO to ask, why have I asked it?
I got you.
I wouldn't believe we could change the figure after it's been set, but Sophie, you would like
So,
to comment?
just to explain the next part, which might explain this part a little bit more, the difficulty we've got is obviously the precept was set. Now, the problem is under the, what's it called, legislation, the Local Government Finance Act 1992, you have to set a budget first before you set a precept, which obviously makes logical sense because your precept's the difference. Now what we've ended up is we technically haven't set the budget, but we have already set the precept. But under our standing orders 7A, normally we can't bring a resolution back within 6 months unless you do a special resolution to say we want to change it. But under Standing Order 25A, all or part of standing orders except one that incorporates mandatory statutory or legal requirements, which that is not one of them, may be suspended by resolution in relation to the consideration of an item at an agenda for a meeting. So i.e. you can suspend standing orders and you can re-agree the precept, which you would have to do legally anyway because you have to do budget then precept. So if council did want to change the budget and then inadvertently the precept, they would be able to do it at tonight's meeting.
Okay. Right, okay.
Does that answer everything?
Well, it's a let out, isn't it? It's a let
Yeah.
out. It gives me a let out anyway. If I know there's a chance of revisiting it, even if it's after 6 months, it's still possible to revisit it because you can always do something about it next year or even after 6 months. You've still got to come back. Okay, that answers my question and changes the way I would have voted.
Well, you can change it tonight if that's what I mean. We have to suspend.
No, because
some.
I need more information
Right.
that isn't actually in the budget.
So you're wanting to change the budget after and the precept after it's already been requested from South Holland, or because that's a different matter. Once it's already been taken from the public, you can't.
Yeah. But what we could do is set a much lower one the following year.
Yes, if we find
If we
out.
find with cash in hand, then the following year we can set a much lower precept.
Yes.
Potentially, yes, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of if and buts, isn't it? You don't know.
Yeah, of course it's like
Yeah.
we don't know what's going to happen. And we've had no idea what's going to happen this past year, let alone next year. Okay, see if you can find someone to second it then, Mr. Chairman.
So do you want me to read the proposal out again?
Yeah.
Okay, so the proposal is to set the total income of £62,925 and the total expenditure of £479,892. Have we got a seconder?
I've already proposed.
I've proposed it again. So have we got a seconder on that?
That'll be me.
Thank you. Have we got a vote on that? All in? Is that all? Three, all in, yes? And those not in favour?
Can we please have that recorded?
Sam?
I voted.
You vote for.
He voted for
Vote
it.
for.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that passes. Sorry, I did. Okay, so now we move to the precept section. I apologise that the meeting was a bit late, and that's because I needed to consult with people regarding what is proposed next. I'm moving on to where we want to go with that. Sophie?
Okay, so as I just explained, the precept was legally set at the last meeting, but you also have to set a budget prior to setting the precept. So what is proposed to do is that under Standing Order 25A, we would suspend by resolution Standing Order 7A, which is the one where you can't bring it back within 6 months, in order to re-resolve the precept just in the correct order. again, I won't make the proposal because I'm not going to make the proposal. Not
I
principle.
propose.
We've got a seconder for that?
I'll second it.
Yeah. All in? Thank you. Is that you?
Yeah.
How many do we have there? 1, 2,
Four.
4. Thank you. And Dave's abstained? Not in favour?
Not from there.
2 not in favour. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that moves us on.
No, sorry, Mr Chairman, that's a vote to suspend standing orders, so
Right.
you have to first suspend your standing orders and vote that through, and then you're
Then
now
we're getting onto the
able to
precept, yeah.
legally vote
Yeah, I
that
understand
precept,
that.
yeah.
So we've now suspended standing orders.
I propose.
We've just done that. Seconded.
All in favour?
All in favour? Sam?
Didn't we just do that one?
No, this is we suspend, I was to vote to suspend, to be able to make the suspended out.
No, we did just vote that in.
Yeah.
We just, that's
Voted
what I
to
just thought,
suspend.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
voted
but
that
this
one.
is to suspend the standing
No,
orders.
no, that was that vote.
That was that vote.
was that vote.
We just voted to suspend standing orders.
We've
Yes,
just done that.
you voted
Yes.
to suspend
Yeah.
standing orders,
Yeah,
you
that
now
was
need
the
to vote through your
Yes,
precept.
so, okay, thank you. So now we need to revote the precept. So the proposal would be to set the precept at £416,967. And we've got a seconder on that. Thank you. Have we got votes on that, please?
Reluctantly.
Thank you. Not in favour?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So. Now, move on. Move on to financial matters for resolution. To approve an external payroll service. I'm really struggling with the light tonight. We have due to having a locum clerk, RFO, temporary, obviously she only works equivalent of 2 days a week. She can't do everything. We need to basically have mandatory things done. Payroll is obviously one of them. We've had a proposal that we could outsource the payroll part for a cost of £50 per month. Has anyone got any questions on that? No? So the proposal is to outsource payroll at the cost of £50 per month.
I'll propose that.
Yeah. Seconded?
Oh, sorry, Mr Chairman, can we just clarify a few more details of...
Of course.
We asked you questions.
Well, no, I'm saying about the proposal.
No,
I know
less
what
than that.
the details are, Tim. I'm just saying for the proposal, can we clarify for exactly how long that's going to be for
Of
and
course.
any other details we need so it's clear in the
Of
resolution?
course. Until further notice, we don't know when we're going to employ other people, so at this point it's hard to actually say for how long, but it's not, we're not under contract, we can stop this at any time, it's just until needed. Would you like to propose further to that?
Personally, given our circumstances, because our main issue is the fact that the payroll software is on a laptop and can't be accessed remotely.
Correct.
So is then causing more issues for the remote acting clerk to be accessing that alongside all their other duties. So given the fact that we've got to stick with our current payroll software until April, until the new tax year, new financial year rather, then I would suggest we make that decision till April and then we look into a better longer term solution between now and then.
So do you want to propose that?
I'll propose that.
I'll second it.
All in? Thank you. Right, next. Be to approve the outsourcing of the council accounts work. Have we got any further information on that, please, at this point?
The person that we were asking has said that he can't do it because the amount of hours that it would take in aspect to the way that he would do it. I'm currently in contact with another accountant, and so we'll have to pass it by until I get more information from them.
Proposed defer.
Seconded for.
Can I just explain, because I think the public will probably want to know why on earth this is
Hang on a
here
second.
and what it's for. Basically, the situation is, obviously, the acting clerk's only 2 days a week. Our accounts, unfortunately, have been slipping. From my calculations, it looks like there's about £100,000 that's not been on there and reconciled.
Yeah.
I think everybody would agree. So that's an awful lot of work. We need to make sure that's up and ready for the year end and the AGAR and everything. Very important.
Sorry for butting, but you're going to be late for the
Excuse me, can
Yeah.
we not have conversations? Just put your hand, that's fine for you to talk, but just ask, please.
But yes, so it's a priority job that needs doing. The council haven't agreed to increase the acting clerk's hours, so it's not going to be possible for her to do it. Therefore, we're looking at getting an accountant in to be able to get it sorted, because this needs to be resolved. So that's why it's here. We're trying as best as we can to get somebody for a decent price. But yeah.
Former clerk David Boyce has said he would come back in a consultancy capacity, if that's any help.
Thank you.
Proposed defer.
Proposed to defer, seconded to defer, all in to defer. Thank you. Right. Item C is to approve the appointment of masons and partners to handle land matters regarding any land owned by HPC with respect to EGL4 and EGL4, National Grid and Meridian Solar. What this is about is I want to declare an interest as such in this. The only reason I know of Masons and Rural is because I live in land that was affected by EGL3 and EGL4, and I personally went to Masons and Rural to conduct my land affairs as to give me advice with respect to that. So I would like to disclose that that is my interest in this, and therefore I knew when I saw that we had land with respect to this, I put it out to people that perhaps we should use this. There's no cost to HPC for doing this, and it could be a benefit to us, because when you've got someone more professional involved, that takes workload off of us, and they might attract more money from such. I've presented all the paperwork to council in under supporting documents. Is there any questions on that? Anyone? Councillor? As I say, I normally don't allow public to speak to this one, but I'm known for allowing that, so carry on for this time.
Just a question, you just made a declaration there, shouldn't that have been done earlier in the meeting? Thank you.
It can be done at any time, and I apologise but it can be done at any time, and I think I've fully disclosed it in detail.
Thank you.
Anyone got any questions? Tim?
A merely on observation, the use of land agents can sometimes be an extreme bonus. For instance, in terms of some of my land, had a water company wanted to pass a pipeline through it, and if you apply for compensation yourself, it's usually very, very little. If you get land agent do it, and get an awful lot more money. Therefore, land agents do have a purpose, and I see where you're coming from. I take it in this case, these issues are to do with any land that we own. For instance, the larger agricultural, what do you call it, allotments we have, I take it.
This is
potential for that to come across there or in there.
This is in Pacific, owned by HPC with respect to the EGL3 and EGL4 products by National Grid and Meridian Solar only at this
But
stage.
where do they cover? Do they cover any of our existing land?
Yes.
Or loads of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yes.
Right, okay, in that case, yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
I
It's
don't.
not cost us anything.
No, exactly. I don't want to propose it because an interest. Would anyone be willing to propose that?
Well, the question obviously is, it should be other companies available to do it. Obviously, since you declare an interest in it, I can't really see how you can vote on it.
Exactly.
So it would have to be us, the rest of us. All I would like to say is that okay, it's not going to cost us anything, but if there was potential for something to happen, would we be better off with this particular land agents or another particular land agents? I don't know. I would say that for the time being, the use of a land agent wouldn't be a bad idea, especially if it cost nothing as a retainer. So I'd be well disposed towards it. So that being the case, I will propose that.
Seconded?
If it's not going to cost anything.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Yeah.
Only point, Mr Chairman, is in terms of signing the contract, obviously ordinarily it will be yourself as chairman doing that. Given you've disclosed an interest, would it be more suitable for your vice chair to sign it?
Yes, that won't be a problem to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a seconded on that. All in for that? Thank you. Okay, so see if anyone's thing. Right, item B, to approve Gallagher annual insurance renewal. Has everyone had a chance to look at that document? Has anyone any questions, observations on that document? Isabel?
My main thing is that obviously we have got to agree it tonight really, because there is no other option. It runs out as of today, but he is extending it for another 7 days as far as I'm aware. There are some caveats within it which I have reservations as to whether we have been following. However, we have now taken on board that, and I know some things have already been done today. So that would be my only point, that we do need to make sure that we are following all of those caveats within that policy and not ignoring them, because else that could put us into a problem further down the line. The other issue would be that we do need to agree, if we are agreeing it, it's either we're agreeing it for 1 year or we are doing it on the 3-year plan that they're saying. If you agree to the 3 years, basically they will keep the price pretty much as is, providing that we don't change the cover that is required or there is a claim, obviously. It will mean that if there's any increase in insurance tax or VAT or anything, or any of the taxes that are outside of our control, that would go on automatically, but it would mean that you would be tied in for 3 years with that particular policy.
Okay. Yes. Can I have a small comment on that? You're completely right, Isabel, in pointing them things out. And as you pointed out at the beginning, we need to go through with this, we need insurance. If we looked through them stipulations and couldn't meet some of them stipulations, we would have to obviously go back to the insurance or deal with them stipulations going forward. Has anyone got any issues with that? Tim?
I think make the observation is entering into a 3-year deal at this point in time probably isn't the best idea, given the fact we've got devolution rapidly coming up to us. So I think if we're going to do it, we'll do it for 1 year on that basis, because there could be significant changes under devolution.
Yeah, agreed.
So can we have a proposal, please?
I'll propose 1 year.
Sorry,
Sophie?
Mr Chairman, in terms of if we do go for the 3-year deal in order to secure a lower price, presumably if any assets changed or came into our control, we're able to amend the policy during the policy term, aren't we?
Yes.
So all it will mean is that we are ultimately securing a lower price for the parishioners. We can still change that if we need to at any point in time, because there are some buildings that we have declared empty currently that may not be empty later, and you would ultimately just update your policy at that point in time, wouldn't you? You wouldn't need to take out a whole new policy. So
Thank you. Tim?
Point being is, you have car insurance, you change the policy, add vehicles to it, you end up getting a massive increase in the premium on it during the time. Then additional charges. I would say let's do it for a year and then resolve it after that, and put it out to the contender for other people. See what happens next year. If we tie ourselves for 3 years, and on the hope that it's going to, if we do get devolution and there is significant changes, that they're going to be generous to us, I think that's pretty folly to say the least. Let's just get a year in.
Yeah.
Well, the proposal is to renew, so as
Propose for a year with caveat 1 year.
have we got a seconder on that?
Yeah.
Voting for that? I'm assuming I would go for the year on that, but universal. So what have we got there? I didn't see.
I feel Sophie's probably right on this one, that 3 years is better for the parishioners and it can be altered as and when. I think.
I'm personally universal on the 1 or 3. I just want to get the insurance in place, to be honest, because it runs out very shortly, and I don't want to row about 1 or 3 years at this stage. Sophie?
Yeah, again, I would go for the 3 years because I think it's going to lock us into a better deal. Ultimately, we do use a broker anyway. There's very little people who will insure parish councils, so they do get the best price for us already. And in terms of local government reorganisation, South Holland District Council have made it very clear to us and also to the district councillors they will only give over assets if the parish council requests them. So that's not something that we necessarily at this point in time need to panic over and therefore change our insurance over. We can deal with that at the time if necessary.
I think probably what Sophie's trying to say is if we don't take the 3 years and there's only a couple of people that are willing to insure the council, next year we could be held to ransom anyway, and insurance premiums always go up, it's never going to go down. So realistically, if you can get a good price, you should take that good price, really.
My question on that is, I think there were some comments on this was their last meeting, but do we know it's a good price? The problem is at the moment we've reached a point that we're up against the clock, i.e. there's no time to recheck with a load of other insurance. So, Isabel, I'd like some comments regarding to check that.
There is very little that you can. There are very few people that will insure parish councils. We did do an exercise with this, I think, about probably 3 years ago, and we pretty much came back to the same insurers because, as it's just been stated, we do use a broker, so they do go out to the market, but the market is very small for that particular thing. So yes, it is worth looking at and doing at some point, but as we're saying now, you haven't got the time to do that. So you are going to have to make a decision, whether it's 1 year or 3 years, you're going to have to make a decision based on what we've got now, because you haven't got any other option at this stage. 3 years down the line or 1 year down the line, you can look at it again and go out to the market if you think you can find anything out there. But if you're only signing up for 1 year, then that's going to have to start pretty damn soon, isn't it? If you're going to be looking for quotes for this time next year, 6 months in, we're going to have to start that process of looking for those quotations.
My worry would be exactly what you've just pointed out. Literally, I think me and you was in a meeting about a week ago. We've now got to do it because we're running out of insurance, and when you're running out of insurance, everything has to be done quick, which means I've done no research into pricing whatsoever. I don't know if it's a good price, a bad price. All I know at this stage is it needs doing, and that is why I keep pushing towards, now I'm thinking about, I'm pushing towards the 1 year, because if you sign up to a 3 year deal, like we're sort of in a mess. We've got a public member.
Just to avoid any issues, did you not just vote on it being 1 year and it carried because you were one of the voting parties, and so you will now need to suspend your standing orders in relation to this item and vote on it again? Would you not, unless I'm sure there were 3 hands up, including yourself, for the 1 year term, which means it's carried?
No, it's a tied vote and he hasn't done a casting vote yet.
Apologies.
Yeah.
No, fine. Just to avoid you falling into it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Isabel.
All I would say is, from the point of view of value for money, it is pretty much the same price as we paid last year. So it hasn't really gone up significantly. So, that's all you can compare it to.
Paul.
Yeah, well, obviously there's a very tight deadline here, so we've got to agree this tonight. And in order to do that, since the majority appear to be going for the 3 year option, I'll switch and go for the 3 year option, so that will carry it.
Yeah. So we've got a public member.
Can I say, from a personal point of view, if I was looking for insurance, I would want a price for a year and 3 years. Are you able to say what the difference is, so that you can make a decision?
Isabel.
The quotations that we got, the quotation that we have, it is for the year, but it locks us into that same price for 3 years if we agree to the 3-year term. If we don't agree to the 3-year term, then next year it could be more.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
you must have a
No,
figure.
there is no figure, there's no difference between the two. It is,
No,
he's
but you
quoted
must
this.
have a figure that you know what your insurance is going to
Oh
cost.
yes, we know what it is, yes.
So you got that to hand, Adrian?
Yes, well,
I think off the top of my head, I can't quote it, 13,900 and someone.
two seconds, sorry, 2 seconds.
£942.90.
And that's per year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
And one assumes that due diligence is being used to get the best price.
It has been up to now, the problem is this year we've run out of time because we weren't given this quote until a few days ago because we are behind on everything. Had we have had the quote 2 months ago, then we would have had a better,
Understanding?
yes.
Alright, okay, we need to move on from this shortly, but just one more.
I was on the research that was done 3 years ago about the insurance company. You are not going to find anybody now that is going to want to insure HPC. Most of the insurers totally blacklisted councils. I don't know why, but that's their decision.
Yeah.
So, which is right. Go to Birmingham as an example. Birmingham don't insure any of their buildings because nobody will insure them.
Okay.
So that's what could end up happening here.
As I've said from the beginning, like, we need to get insurance. It is really 1 year or 3 year. Insurance does go up every year, normally. The 3 year is based. Yes, someone could have a look around and go, someone's £2 cheaper next year or something, but we've taken a few views on it and I'm not sure that.
So are you coming off a 3-year deal?
Yes.
2 seconds, sorry, you
deal.
have to,
Okay.
so carry on.
Are we coming off a 3-year deal?
That is my understanding that it was signed up for a
Yes.
3-year deal before, am I
Was
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay,
Rick.
thank you. So,
Right, to move it forward then, I'll do a proposal that we accept the figure of 13,000, etc.
£942.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Second
Sam.
it.
For the 3 years,
All in favour.
please.
all in favour of 3 years deals, yes? Okay? Right. Thank you. Right, okay, so that moves us on to the public forum, unless I'm incorrect. Okay, so have we got anyone who would like to talk in the public forum? Carry on, please.
I'd just like to know, you said at the beginning you were going to explain why the public forum was at the end of the meeting and not at the beginning, as per normal. You didn't explain why.
Right, so the public forum was put to the end of the forum because the budget figures and the precept had already been discussed in a previous meeting. We'd had a very long conversation about it, multiple hours of conversation. There was nothing that suggests that we was going to change them figures, so I did not want another prolonged conversation on such.
Okay, thank you for your explanation, but would it not have been better that after you did the budget and the precept to then do your public? Because a few of us had questions, especially with your insurance, etc. Where we could have helped you.
Yeah. But I've gave, when people have put their hands up, I've gave opportunity.
I'm not saying it happened.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Yeah, just to say about the precept, I am being asked all along the line from every institution to pay more money. This, to a lot of people, might not be a huge increase. But every month I have an incoming and an outgoing, and I know what I have to do to balance my books. If I can't afford something, then I don't have it. And each pound that I'm being asked, a pound here, insurance, council tax from South Holland District Council, income tax, it is unbelievable the amount of people, that the amounts that we're having to pay now, and I am being asked, well, I'm not being asked, I'm now having to pay a precept of 18 point something %, which has gone up from, I think it was 2 point something last year, 5% the year before. And the community grants have gone up from £3,000 to £10,000. And I don't understand the why that is so. If we are that hard up for money, you know, if you can't afford, in an ideal world, we would have the money there that we can help every institution that asks. But if we haven't got the money, we can't support them. And you know, just be big enough to say, we are sorry, but we're not able to help you this year. Why this figure of £10,000? I just don't know. If you 300% increase in the year before. And hopefully it's for the betterment of the people of Holbeach, I assume, but I don't know.
I think you're referring to the grants, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
community
from
grants.
3 to 10, and that was because I understand we have a lot of people asking for grants, and we would like to help more people. And then grants are not for the parish. Then grants are to help people that come to us and say, we are doing this, can you help us, etc. I think one of our councillors in the last meeting pointed out he knew people with that basically would want such, and questioned that's to give back. That's to say, we've got this money here. If you want us to help you, come and ask us for a grant. That's I think the council's way of giving back, if that makes sense. Has anyone else got any? Does anyone else, any of the councillors, want to comment on such? Tim?
Yes, Mr. Chair. All councils of one form or another make some form of grant or one another, but the fact is this hasn't gone up in how long? This is the first increase for how many years? It should have gone up incrementally with inflation over the years. It hasn't done. All we've done is partially caught up what we should have been doing in the first place. So there's no problem with it.
Excuse me, the problem might not be for you, but for me there is.
Well, I'm the same phone as you have. I've got the same problems.
You don't know. You don't know what my...
We don't know what I know.
Well, no, I know,
that's the
but
situation.
you are assuming that I'm in the same position as you.
Well, there you go.
All right. Sam?
I was one of those, sorry, that suggested to put the grants up, and the way that I see it is there's a lot of groups within Holwich that do jobs that possibly the parish council should do, i.e. the Christmas lights, which is run by a separate organisation that's a charity. That's just one example. That costs an awful lot of money that is done through charitable donations, and I felt that it's something that Holbeach Parish Council, because it benefits the people of Holbeach, should be involved with. So therefore the 3,000 last time was oversubscribed because there were so many different parties that wanted help from Holbeach Parish Council. So I suggested an increase so that we had the chance to help the parties that do jobs that maybe we should be more involved with. So instead of taking on the whole of the parish, the lights, which would cost thousands of pounds, which we wouldn't necessarily have had the money for, this means that we can assist them to do the job that they do. I hope that, and I completely understand where you're coming from, and I think giving money away when you haven't got money is a terrible thing, but this is one chance that we can do to help people who help us by not... Does that make sense? I hope that just a little bit qualifies where I was coming from with that.
You've got... Carry on, please.
Thank you. Before anyone comments about my own personal circumstances, how much money I have or I don't have and how much I give to charity and publicise it over the internet, I just think it's nice to be voluntary contributing towards these things, not being made to do it compulsory. And if you do it through the precept, it's compulsory. I take your point about the costs of doing the Christmas lights. I'm not sure of the figure that was given by Holbeach Parish Council this year, but there were certain other councillors from South Holland District Council, I believe maybe even Lincolnshire, which gave probably more than what was given by Holbeach Parish Council. But so there are a lot of people contributing to it. But Sophie and other councillors have budgets to spend from their South Holland District Council. Really, we are at the lower end of the scale. We can send out money if we've got it available, but at the moment you're saying you haven't got money and you're putting up the precept by 18%. I don't think it's justified, to be perfectly honest.
Thank you. Is there any more comments?
Yeah, okay, I have another comment. This is following on from an email I sent to you earlier. I don't know if you've received that and read it.
It's been an extremely busy day. As you know, that's why I was late for the meeting. I haven't had a chance to look at my emails the last few months.
I did wonder, and it's really a little bit late now, but it does talk of the same as what was said earlier from Rick here, that the public forum is at the end and after the horse has bolted, I suppose, but there we go. And after your recent comments about meetings are conducted rather than raising my hand during the meeting and risk declined, I thought I would send this email through to you so you had the opportunity to look at it and give you the courtesy of reading it and come up with an answer before I read it out at the public forum. I believe it is relevant that at the last meeting, around 17 minutes 15 seconds into that meeting, Paul Foyster remarked, "We pay rates too." I suppose technically we all do, but not perhaps all to our parish, as may be the case. Indeed, may I ask, Mr. Chairman, do you pay rates into Holbitch Parish Council?
No.
If not, why are you voting to increase something you will not be contributing financially?
I don't believe it's a question of whether I personally pay rates in things, and I'm trying to make a judgment based on the facts given to me.
Right, okay. I sent a chart through with that, and if you're in down Band D for comparison, your precept payment in Saracens Head, which is I understand where you live,
Correct.
if you were in Band D, that would have been £13.15 for the year, correct?
I have not checked, but if
I have the document here. If you were in Band D, you'll be paying £13.50 currently this year, okay? Irrespective of any increases. For a comparison with Holbitch Parish Council, it's currently at £92.62. So what you seem to have done today is increased our precept by more than the amount that you're actually going to be paying yourself for your council tax. And it is actually a point of principle that you voted upon it, and I question the morality of it. Councillor Sneath made some interesting remarks on Facebook about the precept, and he is saying exactly what others have been saying. Indeed, amongst this are the events which are a big issue. The more you get, Holbitch parishioners have to pay for, but not for those who financially contribute towards it in their precept for the free. So you get it for free. So, for example, if your next door neighbour came along to one of the events that you were doing, they wouldn't be paying for it. They'd be paying for it. I'd be paying for it. We'd be paying for it. And I think that's unfair. So no wonder some people are very keen to promote these events. And you can charge entrance fees into some of the places if you want. You can't.
I thought you couldn't.
You can pay, you can
Sorry.
charge at the Carts Park. So therefore, if you're putting on an event, make it chargeable, and therefore those people who want to go to it can pay for it voluntarily, and it's not being done under a charity from the Holbitch Parish Council for the people who are being told they have to contribute to it, rather than people who live outside in Fleet, Fleet Hargate and some of the other areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I just say, if you get hold of an event in Carter's Park, which is the ideal location, if you charge an entrance fee, all the parishioners in Holbitch have already paid it in their council tax. Why would they have to pay to go into an event again? It's not right in my eye.
Sorry, that's an additional event if you were doing something that costs money to put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they paid their £90, haven't they?
Okay.
For the year already.
Can I just come in there?
Thank you for your comments.
Can I just come in there? Part of the reason that we run events like the Christmas Fair is specifically because it pulls people in from outside the parish. It pulls people in from surrounding parishes who come into Holbitch, and that increases the footfall for the shops in Holbitch and so on and so forth. So there is a net benefit for the town as such.
Carry on.
Okay, Mr. Foyster, may I ask a question through the chair? There was an email today, I believe, sent out by Mr. Paul Poll, and do you mind if I quote that email?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Foyster. Did you have any interest in the Winter Wonderland, not Christmas Fair? We're not allowed to call it a Christmas Fair. It's a Winter Wonderland. We decided on that in the Freedom of Information Act. Did you have any interest in that?
Yes, I did.
Did you declare at the time
I
that you
understood.
had an interest when you were voting?
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
I've done the Christmas Fair in Holbitch
Yep.
for some 35 years, whatever it was running.
Yep.
I took no part at any stage in the preparations for it, the organisation of it, the setting of charges or anything else. I was just a trader. So I didn't have anything to do with it.
Did you not vote at one of the elections,
No.
one of the parish councils?
No.
I believe that you've got a video recording about that, haven't you?
Okay, excuse me. Hold it.
Oh,
Can we get to the point? Could you?
Well, the point is that we're talking about doing something, and we're talking about having a disclosed interest in something. You actually have a personal benefit from your trading in it.
I think it was, if you look at my declarations, I'm not sure about this, that I did actually declare that I had a store on Holbitch Christmas Fair. But how it was organised, or if it was organised, and how much it cost and so on, has nothing to do with me
But
whatsoever.
that's pretty similar to the fact that at the meeting as well, excuse me, Mr Chairman.
Mr Chair, there's far too much about time
Yes,
now.
yes, so, 2 seconds, please.
I'll be very brief.
Finish it off and that's it, please. Finish it off. Captain,
Wind it
up.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd also like to query why WI Hall was given the bar at the event for the Winter Wonderland, and that person who is a trustee of that Winter Wonder at the WI Hall didn't declare an interest.
Okay, that we'll look into that. I think we've had our say now, haven't we? And I think I've been
Yeah,
fair.
that was Mr Wiltshire, by the way, the trustee. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, I think we've had a piece. Has anyone else got anything to say? No? Okay, so I think this meeting's now closed.
Good.
Thank you.